Welcome to the latest edition of the WCIA Farm Showcase. I'm farm broadcaster Stu Ellis. In the next half hour, you'll meet John and Dan Sullivan of Sullivan Auctioneers. You'll see how Todd Ratliff solves security challenges on the farm. You'll find out where Illini brand seed originates and what Matt Youngman does when he's not managing the Farm Progress Show. And wait till you meet two firecrackers from the Urbana FFA. All right now on Farm Showcase.
This is the WCIA3 Farm Showcase with your host, Stu Ellis.
Hello everyone, I'm Stu Ellis, and with me is Todd Ratliff, and we're at a typical farm building. And the owner here has some security challenges with the building, his home, but the property some ways away. Todd is the owner of Total Farm and Home Video Solutions, and it was easy for him to solve. Todd, what was the real challenge that you had in setting up a security system for this particular customer?
Well, this customer has multiple locations, as most farmers do, and he had just built a new seed corn building about 3 miles away where he stores his seed corn. He also sells seed corn, and it was just a building put in a field. There's no electricity over there, there's no internet, there's no address. It's just a building on his property. As the crow flies, probably about 3 miles away from the home farmstead. We put a system together for him where he has one main central point here in his office, and all the cameras report to that main central point, even being from different locations. And we're sucking them in through the air and putting them on his computer for him. And he also has access to them through his smartphone as well. If he's in a meeting in Indiana or whatever the case may be, he'd still have full control of his camera system from his phone. With the issue with no electricity over there, we deployed some solar panels on top of the building and set him up a solar escape over there just for the camera system, which allows him to maintain security of the building as well.
Okay, so he's got electricity to operate the cameras.
Mm-hmm.
He's got electricity for the radio to send that signal there back to here to your receiver up on the roof line here.
It does. You know, the way we built the system, we wanted it to be non-internet dependent, because in rural communities our internets go up and down, and sometimes we lose access to the internet altogether. So the camera system itself is non-internet dependent. It doesn't matter if the internet's up or down, my system's up and recording and doing what it's supposed to do all the time. The only thing the internet does is allow you to see it on your smartphone. But since we have set this up and shared the internet from his main building with his home and with his seed corn building, he now has internet in each one of them buildings shared from this structure.
So if he needs to place an order or update something on his seed corn storage or report something, he can do that even without internet connection and without electricity.
Yes, sir. Yeah. For farmers that have cattle barns a mile away or a machine shed a couple miles away, the average camera company would tell them they would have to put multiple systems in multiple places to be able to obtain that video. With the way we've got our system set up, we can do it on one system, and even with the properties spread out, pull them all in. And then in the case that something would happen over there, whether it be a fire or a robbery, whatever the case may be, there's nothing over there for them to steal or nothing over there to burn. All the data is actually stored here. So there's nothing over there at all but cameras. If someone was to come and take them down, we'd just watch them do it.
And I'll bet if a farmer had some grain bin installation someplace where he needs to maintain a dryer going on in the fall, your system would probably help him operate that dryer from his home several miles away.
Right. Usually they don't put the dryers too close to the farmer's home because of how loud they are.
Right.
And you can only run a direct line Cat5 cable up to 333 feet.
That's not very far.
Not very far at all.
Football field size.
Right. So with us putting up our radios, we can actually go up to 6.4 miles line of sight and share the internet from the home with their grain dryer so that they can actually use the main feature of the grain dryer, which is having the ability to control that from your phone. So with what we're doing with the internet and kind of helping them manage it and channel it to where it needs to go, we're opening some doors for farmers that have really need opened for a long time.
You may have some challenges at home that may be parallel to this or something a little bit different. But the person who can solve this is Todd Ratliff at Total Home and Farm Video Solutions. And you can give him a call. Watch for his contact information. You can find all that you need at WCIA.com.
Where would you think that Illini brand seed would originate? Well, most of you are correct, in the South Farms at the University of Illinois. Researchers and soybean breeders worked many years to develop non-GMO soybean varieties that compete with the highly advertised brands from well-known companies. But where can you get Illini brand seed? Well, the Baird Seed Company is happy to accommodate you as the exclusive source. It's a third-generation family-owned seed company located near Williamsfield, just off I-74 between Galesburg and Peoria. Owner Doug Baird says he likes the genetics coming from breeder Brian Deers.
They're a good source of genetics. We have a very strong program here at the University of Illinois, and its relationship with other universities and materials. I think you can add to it, can't you?
Yeah, that's right. So we've had soybean breeding here at the University of Illinois for almost 100 years now. And so there's been a lot of breakthroughs in genetics that have come out of the University of Illinois. And we're continuing to do soybean breeding and genetics research. And so we're working with Doug because we need an outlet for our varieties. So we develop varieties, but the university doesn't market varieties. So we license our germplasm to Doug, and then he'll do the marketing for us. We've been very focused on non-GMO varieties, mostly because this is an area that the major companies have not been focusing on. And we know that there's a market for non-GMO varieties. Farmers would like the new genetics, so this is something that we feel that we can be successful in developing. And so we've focused on these non-GMO varieties. We've also been focused on disease resistance and pest resistance. We've come out with varieties with aphid resistance, soybean cyst nematode resistance, Phytophthora resistance. So we've been pretty strong in that area. What we're working on now, and we're hoping we will be releasing varieties soon with improved oil quality. If you take the oil and you use it in baking and frying, over time that oil is going to turn rancid. And so what we've done is we've developed varieties with new genetics that have, the varieties have a high oleic content and a low linolenic acid content. And that's going to give you a much more stable oil that can be used in especially these frying and cooking applications.
That would be a healthier oil too, wouldn't it?
That's right. It's going to be a healthier oil. So we do a lot of research at the university, which we will license some of this research widely to other companies and publish this research, and it'll be picked up by other companies. But we also want to develop things that growers can actually use directly. And so we need to work with companies like the Baird Seed Company to get our varieties out to farmers. And so it gives us a more direct relationship with farmers. And also we get royalties back from the varieties, which goes back into the research program.
Doug Baird says the demand for GMO beans is increasing steadily, year after year.
I mean, they're cost effective. The yields are there. They will yield as well or better than the GMOs. And you don't necessarily have to have a premium program to make a profit using them.
And just as often as students graduate, Illini brand seeds are being born at the U of I every year. There's a lot of stress and dynamics in agriculture today. And if it's your time to get bigger or get smaller, Sullivan Auctioneers are your first choice to get that accomplished, says John Sullivan.
We sell farm real estate and farm equipment, and that's what the bulk of our business is right now. And so, and the farmland part of it is a big part of our business, and we cover multiple states. We certainly over in the Champaign area, we have Kevin Haas as our rep over there, and Kevin does a tremendous job. But agriculture, land, farmland is, and farm machinery is really what the heart of our business is.
Brother Dan Sullivan says he and all his brothers have been helping farmers for over 40 years.
You know, we deal with a lot of clientele, and like Brother John said, over the entire country, but right here in central Illinois, in that Champaign area, of course, Kevin Haas handles a lot of land, deals with a lot of folks. He's a graduate there. My nephew, we have the third generation coming on, which is just puts a smile on our face. I would say that John has 3 sons that are in it, my son Michael. So that third generation coming on is moving this Sullivan Auctioneers, without a doubt, to another level.
Sullivan Auctioneers are the recognized industry leaders in what they do.
We've tried to be innovative over the years. We have to change, you have to adapt, because technology has changed, and so we've tried to adhere to that technology. You know, we started out with black and white sale bills, little bitty ones, and then we went to color, and then we added pictures, and then we put color pictures in there. Then we created a website, one of the first auction companies to have a website, and then developed our internet bidding, which has created a whole new, really opened us up even more to the world, literally, as far as bidding and where our buyers are coming from. And so that technology, if you don't stay abreast of what's going on in this world, you're going to get left behind. And so we've tried to stay out in front of that technology.
Everyone holding a sale, equipment or land, wants a lot of bidders, and the Sullivan footprint guarantees just that.
You know, we do auctions from Minnesota to Kentucky, from Colorado, East Ohio, and even further. And so it's open to the whole country. And so it used to be you'd have a little sale, and it would be local bidders, and the stuff would stay local. Now it's just opened up and changed. And again, I go back to our third generation coming on. You know, Luke and Matt and Mark Sullivan, and my son Michael Sullivan, that other generation coming on is just is putting us to a level that it just excites us. I just would never dream that it would go like this, and to have the energy and the knowledge in that third generation and cover a bigger, wider area through our internet and through our footprint across the entire, not only the Corn Belt, but the entire country.
As you make plans for a change in your operation, what's this land market doing right now?
Well, I tell you what, we're in a kind of an unprecedented time right now as far as the demand for farmland, whether it's good Class A soil or recreational land, is really at an all-time high. We're seeing, obviously, commodity prices have gone up, interest rates are low. That has really created a market where land prices, we're just selling literally thousands of acres that are far exceeding our expectations. The demand is high, that's driving up prices. And if somebody's thinking about selling farmland right now, now is the time to do it. Nobody knows what the future holds. I wish we could tell them it's going to be better next year, but we don't know that. Make a decision with what you know today. Today we know that demand is extremely strong.
And Dan says there's a great machinery market for both buyers and sellers.
Puts a smile on our face with what's going on in the ag world, and this machinery, there's never been a better time. It's obviously a seller's market, and we're setting records every day. Every sale we have, we're setting records. And again, that footprint in the area that we're covering and where we're sending this equipment to, and the amount of bidders that we're bringing to the table on these machinery auctions. And obviously the price of new gets higher every year, but combination, not only the high commodity prices, but also the very attractive interest rates. And there's some lenders out there that are very aggressive. And there's one thing about a farmer, you know, they're optimistic, and some of the best people we have to work with. And never been a better time to sell, whether it's land or machinery. We're excited.
That's our story about Sullivan Auctioneers. Join in their next auction and see how they have set the new standard. Our next 2 Farm Showcase programs will be July 31st and August 28th. If you'd like to participate, contact the sales department at WCIA Television. Many will recognize the face and name of Matt Youngman, who has been with Farm Progress since 1995 and head of all Farm Progress Company shows since 2004. He periodically has shows to manage, but what does he do with the rest of his time? Well, it's spent on a farm in northwestern Illinois, just north of Monmouth. Meet Matt in his civilian job and father-in-law Greg Campbell at the Campbell family farm.
We are very diverse. We have livestock. We have custom spraying, sell chemicals besides what we farm, and so it's a very diverse operation. Matt is very much counted on spring and fall after he gets through with his busy seasons. Close?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's right.
yeah.
Okay, and Matt, tell me what your contributions to the farm are. What do you do?
I had a good friend tell me, that I should never get a CDL, because if you ever get a CDL, you're going to get stuck in a semi and you're never going to come out of it. And Matt DeBlock could have never been more correct, because I got a CDL, and it's really pretty great. So my busy season, it starts, May, June, and ramps up into the Farm Progress Show in August, and then Husker Harvest Days, which is typically the middle of September. As soon as that is over, as soon as Husker Harvest Days is over, my phone stops ringing. I take a few weeks there and help get the crop harvested. And then, there's a little break in my job in the spring, and Nick Boss, our full-time hired guy, he runs the planter, and in the spring I've kind of transitioned to keeping him in seed and keeping him running. So I'm able to do that. I work from here at the farm in the spring.
Matt's wife, Crystal, Greg's daughter, is heavily involved in the operation.
She's our number one marketer. She's our number one finance person, does all the bookwork. And the latest thing that we've taken on in the last year and a half to 2 years is we sell beef direct from the farm to consumers, and we ship from coast to coast. And she's the lead on, everybody's involved in it, don't misunderstand. But she's the lead on it, on the shipping out part, the marketing part, that sort of thing. So
Scott, my brother-in-law, his son Scott Campbell, he runs the beef production side. So we farm here in Western Illinois. We're not too far from the Mississippi River, and we have good flat bottom ground, and we have good ground, flat ground up on top. But in between, there's places that are meant to be pasture. So beef is a critical, it's a necessary component of the operation. And Scott, he's the herdsman. He makes the breeding decisions. He, the ones that we market as show animals, he markets those, for club calves and those kind of things. So, Scott is off right now feeding cattle.
Matt Youngman is getting busy now preparing for the Farm Progress Show, the last Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday before Labor Day. When you see him there, tell him that you know what he does the rest of the year. You need to meet Dan DOEING, someone who accepted a major challenge on behalf of ag education and FFA.
I'm the new ag instructor here at Urbana, and they did not have an ag teacher last year or an FFA advisor, so they had a kind of a year hiatus where they didn't offer ag classes, and then they started offering that again, but it was in the middle of a pandemic where we were all remote learning all year. So student engagement was pretty low this year.
He's got the heart and drive of a typical VOAG teacher, and late on a spring Friday afternoon was able to convince students to come help him with some raised bed gardening.
And so it was exciting to come in and kind of restart this program in an urban setting. And so that next year, when we do have students in the building full time, I can recruit a little bit easier and get some students to show up and be involved in the projects and community activities that we have and the contests that we have and leadership opportunities outside of class. And then they'll hopefully be able to recognize the benefit of being involved in a program like our FFA chapter.
And now you need to meet the GARADA sisters, whose magnetic personalities will fuel the success of the Urbana FFA program.
Hello, my name is BANAN, spelled B-A-N-A-N, GARADA, G-A-R-A-D-A.
And tell me, oh yes, please.
Oh, and I'm her sister, Fozia GARADA. That's spelled F-O-Z-I-A. IEA, and same last name.
One is headed to law school, the other to medical school. But what was their attraction to agriculture?
You know, I joined FFA as a young freshman, actually, first when I came to the school, and back when it was run by Dr. White. And my very first event, I remember attending the FFA summit here at the U of I, and just being able to see people from all walks of life, people from all parts of the state coming together, meeting and congregating as one FFA chapter, one FFA team, from all across Illinois, just drew me into all the new things I learned, the new people I met, and we were all having the same passion for agriculture and for the environment, and for finding a way to improve our communities, improve our societies, improve our state and our nation through agriculture and through the environment.
I feel like personally, like my involvement in agriculture, I mean, my sister did touch on a lot of those same points, but I do feel like agriculture can bring people together. It's something that brings people, all kinds of people in the community together to work on something, to create something that grows.
Urbana FFA will have a rich heritage thanks to the contributions of the GARADA sisters.
Well, that concludes our program for now. I hope you've enjoyed what we presented. Our thanks go out to Sullivan Auctioneers and to Total Home and Farm Video Solutions for helping sponsor the program. I'm Stu Ellis, and thanks for joining us.
Check out Stu's other farm reports at WCIA.com/farm-showcase.